The excavations in Tuam uncovered a horrifying secret and revealed what those sinister nuns hid from the world. But a new investigation shows that they didn't act alone. They had help. A powerful network covered up illegal adoptions and helped them cover their tracks for over 50 years. That's why we're here today. To reveal this secret, a journey across continents. Thousands of pages of declassified documents and evidence of a global conspiracy involving the Vatican and the US government. However, some priests, nuns, and monks have committed heinous acts that tarnish the image of the entire institution. Their actions cause us to question, are there any limits to faith and obedience? What lengths can religious leaders go to protect their secrets? And most importantly, when will justice be served? It's time to dive into a story so disturbing it'll make your blood boil. 0 o'clock bombastic intro with SEO throughout history. The Catholic Church has played a crucial role in society. During this period, the Church had a firm grip on society, and its teachings were followed closely by the population. Unmarried mothers were often sent to special institutions where they were forced to give up their children for adoption. These institutions were run by religious orders and were supposed to provide care for these women and children. However, in reality, it was a place of abuse and exploitation. In the eyes of society, these children were seen as illegitimate and unworthy of love and care. The Church took this view even further and saw these children as a sin and a threat to the community. By denying them a chance at life, the Church robbed them of their fundamental rights and dignity. These children were buried in unmarked graves without any ceremony or recognition, which caused immense suffering to their families and loved ones. Let's dive deeper into this disturbing story and uncover the truth behind the Church's sinister secrets. One of the most controversial practices of the time was the treatment of unmarried mothers and their children. These crimes committed by members of the clergy have a profound impact on individuals and communities. It's causing physical, emotional, and spiritual damage that can last for generations. The nuns in charge of the Tuam mother and baby homes saw these children as nothing more than a burden and disposed of them without a second thought. The secrecy surrounding the adoptions also adds another layer of complexity to this case. The Church's abuse of power and its attempts to cover up these abuses raise questions about accountability, transparency, and the need for reform within religious organizations. The nuns were supposed to take care of the children and find adoptive families for them. This raises concerns about the motives behind these adoptions and the potential harm caused to the children and their families. For decades, these families were torn apart without knowing the truth of what happened to their loved ones. The recent revelations have brought some closure, but also raised more questions than answers. For decades, the Church has been accused of covering up the adoptions and hiding the truth from the public. But in reality, they were perpetuating a culture of shame and secrecy that only caused more harm. This raises concerns about the level of corruption and abuse of power that was allowed to flourish at the time. The nuns in charge of the Tuam home lied to the mothers about the fate of their children and concealed their true identities to avoid any suspicion. DNA testing of the remains found in the Tuam home has revealed that many of the children buried there were not orphans, as previously believed, but had living relatives who were kept in the dark about their existence. Their discovery shook the country and raised questions about the Church's role in society. However, instead of doing so, they buried the children in unmarked graves, hiding their existence from the world. Families are still searching for answers and demanding accountability from those responsible for the cover-up. We hope to inspire others to speak out against injustice and demand accountability from those in power. Unveiling these dark chapters of history is essential to honor the victims, seek justice, and prevent such abuses from happening again. It's a story that shows the importance of speaking out against injustice and demanding responsibility from those in power. We believe that it's important to shed light on these dark chapters of history and bring them to the forefront of public consciousness. In 2025, during a routine investigation, a team of experts made a shocking discovery that shook the nation and raised questions about the Church's past. What they found led to the opening of a case that promises to change history forever. Your support allows us to keep uncovering these important stories and bringing them to a wider audience. Together, we can ensure that these voices are heard and their stories are never forgotten. It's a harrowing tale that reveals the darkness that can lurk within religious institutions and the lengths to which they will go to protect their secrets. 040. Narrative Development. One such case that shocked the world happened in the small town of Tuam in Ireland. The story dates back to a time when Ireland was under the control of the Catholic Church. In the eyes of the Church, children born outside of marriage were seen as a stain on the community, and every effort was made to hide their existence. One such institution was the St. Mary's Mother and Baby Home in Tuam, which was run by nuns. For decades, nobody knew about the atrocities happening in this institution until a group of researchers decided to investigate. One of the main reasons for this secrecy was the stigma surrounding children born out of wedlock. By hiding the existence of these children, the Church believed they were protecting the community from the stain of illegitimacy. The Church's actions had a devastating impact on the children involved. The discovery of these graves in 2025 brought this dark chapter of history to light and gave voice to the voiceless. So what exactly did the Church try to hide? And how did their actions affect the world around them? As the story unfolds, we begin to see the Church's true colors and the lengths to which they will go to protect their secrets. One of the most disturbing aspects of this case is the way in which the children were treated. Their actions raise questions about the values and morals of the Church and make us wonder how such cruelty could go unchecked for so long. It appears that the Church was not only hiding the existence of these children, but also their origins and true identities. The Church's actions have had a lasting impact on the world around them and continue to raise questions about accountability and justice. The recent investigations into this case have shed new light on the Church's activities and revealed a disturbing pattern of behavior. This discovery has brought renewed calls for justice and a demand for answers from the Church and government officials who knew about the adoptions but failed to act. The impact of the Church's actions on the families involved is immeasurable. It's a story that highlights the importance of seeking the truth and fighting for justice, no matter how difficult it may be. One of the most shocking aspects of this case is the level of secrecy and deception involved. Documents have recently been declassified, shedding new light on the extent of the Church's involvement and the complicity of government officials in carrying out the adoptions. The Church's use of deception and manipulation to carry out the adoptions is particularly disturbing. This level of deceit is hard to fathom and raises questions about the Church's true intentions. The silence surrounding these adoptions has finally been broken, but the road to justice is still a long one. It's a story that reminds us of the importance of speaking out against injustice and fighting for what is right. That's why we're here today. Our goal is to honor the victims and bring awareness to their stories, which have often been silenced or ignored. We believe that through education and awareness, we can create a better future and prevent such atrocities from happening again. So join us on this journey towards truth and reconciliation. If you want to continue exploring this topic and learn about more cases of religious abuse and cover-ups, stay tuned for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. Together, we can continue to seek the truth and fight for a better future.